Hey, how's it going everyone? Josh here of J&K Gaming, and welcome back to the channel here. Today we're going to be doing things a little bit different in today's video. Today we're going to be discussing about my opinions and feelings regarding about Modern Warfare 2. The time that I'm actually recording this video here is October 20th, so by the time once this gets posted, it's actually October 21st. So a lot of people are actually joining the campaign at this time for people that have digitally pre-ordered the game, whether it be the Vault Edition or the regular edition of the game. So pretty much we're right around the corner for Modern Warfare 2, and we had some recent news and updates regarding about the game in terms of the launch content for the game when it comes to the multiplayer aspect of things, because a lot of times that's where the focus is at right now, is actually with multiplayer. But I do gotta admit that when it comes to some of the campaigns, some of the recent campaigns for the recent COD games have been fairly good. I would say when it came to Modern Warfare 2019 and Cold War, those ones were actually quite good. As far as with Vanguard, I'm just not going to talk too much about Vanguard that much, because I think when it comes to Vanguard, as in a multiplayer sense, there's a lot of issues with that game. Despite that, I'll say this: there is some good things about it, which I'll reflect back into when it comes to uh, discussing about some of the multiplayer mechanics, especially for hopefully based off from the experience that I have with the beta going into now the full release of the game, which is just a week away at this point. I hope that if anyone takes a lot of the concerns and criticisms and feedback to heart and to fruition for when it comes to this game, because with the past two Call of Duties, I would say now looking back at Cold War, Cold War was just not as bad of a game. I think as over time Cold War kind of gotten fairly good. Despite the fact with the final season of Cold War, I really did not like what they did with the final season. Adding in the marshals, I think that was really dumb on Treyarch's path. But when it comes to, I would say, in terms of communication and updates, I feel like when it comes to Cold War was handled a lot better than with Vanguard, especially with the communication aspect, between Treyarch and the community. And then rather than, what Sledgehammer did with the community, I just feel like the communication was better. But anyway, so I am getting a little bit off hand here. So let me go back into the beta for Modern Warfare 2. So for anybody that played the beta, whether it be the early access on PlayStation or when crossplay arrived for Xbox and PC players, I played it primarily on PC because currently right now I'm playing every shooter on PC at this point. So with the way how I feel about the beta was, I felt like, generally positive, but of course I felt like that the multiplayer, or in terms of the gameplay itself compared to Modern Warfare 2019, does need some polishing. Now I'm hoping that there's many things that they improve for Modern Warfare 2019, even though Modern Warfare 2019, I'll say this, it's a very good game in its own right. However, it does have its issues. One of the biggest problems, I think a lot of people will tend to agree, is that Modern Warfare 2019 had a huge problem with camping in particular. And I know they did try to combat this, when it came to with the AS Val, when that was released, I think around Season 5 or Season 6 of Modern Warfare, before, Cold War came into the picture. And, the AS Val, especially with hardcore game modes, was really busted, especially with the ammo conversion where you're able to shoot through all the walls. And of course with the with the combination of the snapshot grenades, it made the AS Val really deadly back then. Not many people run the ammo conversion of the AS Val. You probably run the extended mag. The AS Val is still very deadly either way though. But I just hope that when it comes to balancing this game, particularly with the footstep audio, I hope they actually take that really to heart, because that was one of the biggest problems that Modern Warfare 2019 had, was with the footstep audio and the camping. I think that was one of the things that really kind of killed it a lot for many people, even though I still say it's a really good game in its own right, but definitely need some workarounds for that. So I really wish that was something that was fixed back then, because I think that would be probably maybe one of the I would say it's a great Call of Duty, but maybe it could have been, I would say maybe it's a perfect Call of Duty. Like I said, it's a really good game, but it does have some issues. And even though I would say Cold War kind of fixed some stuff when it comes to multiplayer, but I feel like it kind of was a crutch for it. And that's how I just felt because everybody was running the perk greed wild card, for majority of the classics, and then they had Ghost and Ninja at the same time. And I just felt like that's just a perk for everything. And when Vanguard, I'll say this, even though with Vanguard, that currently right now in the state as time went on, the game just kind of got, oh, we're doing this, but we can't do this or that. I'm not gonna be talking about that, but I'll say this one thing that quite a few people may agree upon is that I think they got the footstep audio correctly, because the reason being, I didn't really have to run any of like the ninja or ghost perks that often. I was able to use other perks for that for Vanguard. To me, the biggest problem that I had with Vanguard was in terms with the weapon balancing and the gunsmith. I think it was just really, really not thought out that well. Like 10 attachments, and almost every gun could like 2 or 3 shot, which made a lot of the snipers really worthless. And even at launch, the snipers were really not that good, even though they buffed them over time. But I just felt like with all those crazy attachments that you could do, is just ridiculous. And it's just I don't know. And it's just not because of the World War II theme. I just felt like when it comes to communication between Sledgehammer and the community, it was not that good in terms of with the updates and problems that they had over time. I mean, the same could be said too for Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone. Whenever Warzone had to be updated, something may have happened on Modern Warfare 2019 in terms of multiplayer. I mean, how many times have they broke the fin? And the fin is one of my favorite LMGs in the game, and they broke the rapid fire barrels, which is ridiculous. So I mean, and that's one of the things that was still bothering me even to right now, that Warzone 2.0 will still be on the same client or the same host, which is Modern Warfare 2. Now, from what I understand, based off from one of the updates and a lot of the blog posts that have been going around, that there will be like separate downloadable packs for Warzone, which I think that's still I think that's pretty good that they're doing it through that route. But I still feel like that what if they're changing something major for Warzone, yet it will still affect the multiplayer things of Modern Warfare 2019. I mean, because like I was mentioning, going back to whenever they were updating Warzone, there was something that was messing up in Modern Warfare 2019, not just like the fin, but a couple of the kill streaks. For example, the cruise missile, there was messed up. Like the cruise missile came out, like it was taking too long for it to just land, and people were able to just move out of the way. I mean, you could outrun that thing with the collie sticks, and that was ridiculous. The precision airstrike, a lot of the kill streaks were messed up. The precision airstrike, where you mark it, it marks it where you're standing, and that's no good. I mean, that I just hope that that's not the case here for Modern Warfare 2. Whenever it comes to any updates for Warzone, I hope that whenever it comes to an update, they actually do play test it before it gets released out to the public, which is us, the consumers, the players, everybody. I really hope they do that, just in case they, hey, let's wherever update happens, let's just make sure, let's give a quick tour on multiplayer, or as much time as they need, just to make sure that, hey, that nothing messes up on multiplayer. Then we can release the patch for Warzone 2.0. And I really wish that it was just a separate, just like a separate game altogether, separate hosts, like you're just launching it from a different, game. I really wish that was the case, but I'm just hoping that when it comes to any of the updates that they're doing for Warzone, they test it, that doesn't affect multiplayer, unless it does have to affect multiplayer, like a weapon balance for one gun, that might affect it in multiplayer. I can understand something like that, but if it's just something specific for Warzone, do not change anything for multiplayer. I hope that they played their cards right when it comes to any of these updates, because a lot of times whenever before launching Modern Warfare 2019, you had to wait for an update. Oh, but this is for Warzone. Everything's always about Warzone. Everything's about Warzone, And another thing too, I'm hoping that once the game fully launches, once we're going into the full launch, that the cheating aspect is, of course, minimized as much as possible. I know that there was some controversy with the with registering a phone number in terms of as one of the security measures. I feel like it was kind of taken a little bit way too extreme in that measure, in my opinion. But I really hope that when it comes to Ricochet, they refine it from everything they have done with when they released Caldera, back when during Vanguard's lifespan. I hope they really take everything to fruition, and that the anti-cheat measures go into effect, fully extent, and optimized for that as well too, because we're still battling cheaters here. There was reports that there was cheaters within the beta. I mean, cheaters in the beta of a game is ridiculous. I mean, what the hell? I mean, Vanguard also had that issue as well too, but I don't recall if Cold War had that. Although I remember Cold War did had some issues for beta. But that's a topic for, I think, another time though. Anyways, going back here with Modern Warfare 2, it seems like we have the factions back, which is good, because that was a big problem too with Vanguard. And nobody didn't like that, that there was no factions. Although the operators, there's quite a lot of them that were pretty fun to use. Even though they added Snoop Dogg and the Terminator and the T-1000. I mean, well, Cold War added Rambo, John McClane, and of course Ghostface. So who's gonna show up at this time for Modern Warfare 2019, or I mean, excuse me, Modern Warfare 2 in 2022? Should we see Michael Myers? Hopefully we get to see Freddy Krueger. Hopefully we get to see Jason. Maybe like when Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone originally had the Haunting of Verdansk, they had Jigsaw. They had, I believe, was it the Doctor from Hostel? And I forgot, oh yeah, Leatherface. I thought that was pretty funny when they had all those skins there. So hoping that we see something like that return for Modern Warfare 2 this time around. Something else I also should mention is that one of the things I really hope that they improved from the beta, which was a lot of people that complained about the beta, was the visibility. I'm not the greatest player out there, but I did have a hard time trying to kind of like spot certain character models. Not only that, but when it came to the shooting aspect, when you're shooting at somebody, when you're ADSing, the smoke from the barrel was definitely a hinder for it was definitely hindering the visibility in terms of trying to acquire my target. That was really bad, and I hope they actually cut that down back on the smoke here and really take that into effect. So I really hope that they did improve on that aspect, because I think that was one of the worst things about the beta, especially even you're using optics and silencers. It was not that clear when it came to the visibility, so it was kind of hard to see if that target, that enemy player that you're shooting, if they were running behind cover, or they're already down, unless there was the indicator that showed you that you got the kill or not. So that's one of the problems that I had with that. And I remember that was an issue too in Cold War in terms of the visibility on the player models for all the operators. It was really hard to see in the beta for Cold War, and even a little bit right here too. But the biggest problem was with the barrel itself too, or the muzzle flash, I should say. The muzzle flash, that was a problem. Almost everybody, I think, was having issues with that. A lot of people in a lot of the major channels was having issues with it. I remember seeing the gaming definitions, little short clips that, what am I shooting at? And there's nobody, you can't see anybody because of the muzzle flash. Was ridiculous. So I'm hoping that is actually improved when it comes to the launch of the full game. Like I said, I'm hoping that everything that they, with the feedback and everything that has been, with all the data they collected, they take that to fruition. Another thing too is also the pacing of the game. Another thing that has been also, I say, a topic of controversy when it comes to Call of Duty was the mini-map, in terms of the interaction with the mini-map. Firing a weapon that's suppressed and one that has no suppression, like the silencers, will show up as a red dot on the mini map briefly. If you're firing without a silenced weapon, I feel like that would actually add some more fast pace to the game, in my opinion, because at least now you know who to acquire as your target, what kind of game mode that you're playing though. But I feel like that would actually help out a lot more. Then again, that will help battle the camping issue that what Modern Warfare 2019 happened, because if you look back on that, I don't think there was no dot on the mini map when you're firing the weapon without a silencer. I think only you'll show up on the compass, but not on the actual mini map. The only time whenever you're showing up on the mini map is, you know, with the UFV, as long as nobody's doesn't have ghost or the perk specialist bonus equipped, you know. So that's the only time when they will not show up. And I think they'll still show up with advanced UAV, but I think they're still kind of like slightly kind of masked from the advanced UAV. But that's the only time though. But I hope they do. In the end, they when you're firing a unsuppressed weapon, you'll show up as a dot on the mini map, you know, briefly, depending on, you know, distance and such, you know. So once again, I hope they take that to fruition, just to combat the camping here, because when it comes to camping, everybody can camp, and it's just very, very lame. It's not really entertaining, and it's just sitting there for like in a corner for like 10 minutes with a shotgun, just oh, boom, here comes another guy. Oh, boom. Oh, let me just put a claymore on the other side. Boom. The claymore goes off. Oh, let me put one right here. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. That's pretty much all your kills. It can be very monotonous, and I think many people will agree. We hate monotonous when it comes to gameplay. We want to make sure everything's fast-paced and such, you know. And I hope that they take that to fruition big time, Infinity War. I hope that's the case here, you know. So one of the last things I want to cover here before ending the video, I feel like when it comes to so far one of the recent blog posts that have been going on, I feel like this is actually really good news in terms of with the amount of weapons that's coming into the game at launch. About 51 in total, I believe. There's like 10 ARs, 7 SMGs, I believe like 5 LMGs, a couple of snipers right now, and one melee and one riot shield. And as time goes on, who knows, whenever we see the first battle pass, we're definitely going to see, you know, a couple more new guns, you know. But I hope that, you know, that when it comes to the weapon variety, it's not like with what happened with Vanguard. It's just assault rifles and SMGs throughout most of the seasons that are coming in, and really nothing else new, you know. We only had like about 4 snipers in Vanguard, you know. I really hope there's more than that. Even in Modern Warfare 2019, there was pretty much, well, technically there's 6 snipers. When you count the SPR and the Car 98, they were in the marksman rifle category. And then you had the Dragunov, which was, I don't know, it was really a mixed bag. The right tech was way too slow, but then you had the AX50 and the HTR. Those were really good in their right. The Car 98 and the SPR were amazing. So I'm hoping that we have, you know, snipers like those, you know, in terms of aggressive sniping and traditional long-range sniping, and hoping that you know, when it comes to let's say for example, like other snipers that can use, you know, for one specifically for quick scoping. I hope that we do have some builds for quick scoping, because some of the snipers, the sniper that was in the beta was really good, but it was slow as hell though, because there was no attachments I think available for it in the beta. But I could be wrong. If there was attachments available for the sniper, I mean, I don't really recall, because with the sniper I didn't really have it unlocked. I just had quite a few weapons unlocked and a few attachments unlocked for, like, you know, the M4, the MP5, and the 74U, and that was just it. But pretty much I feel like I'm hoping that the snipers will be really good this time around, you know, at launch, compared to with the way how it was treated in Vanguard, in my opinion. Cold War sniping was really broken at the start, and it was still broken at the end, even with the overhaul they did. I'm just hoping that when it comes to with the attachments that we do have, you know, attachments that are good for the snipers to do quick scoping, depending on, you know, the map. Like a lot of times with shipment, I do have like specific quick scope builds for most of the snipers that I use, so I hope that's the case here, or one that you can snap onto somebody as quick as possible from long range and take them out as quick ASAP as well too. So hoping that snipers are still good this year, compared to what happened with Vanguard though. And some last few things, I'm hoping that we do get some really good bundles, or we get some returning operators that were coming in from Modern Warfare 2019 also returning here. The only one that other than with Afara and Price coming back, and I think Gas coming back is Rose. No one else has been showing up right now from what I saw. So I'm hoping that they also do something with the skins this time around, that we don't get like the Rose skin issue that has been plaguing. Well, it plagued more Warzone than it is multiplayer, but it can be a bit of a hindrance in multiplayer in some of like dark spots on some of the maps or something like that. So I hope that's the case here, that they don't go that route with some of the skins, like with like the Rose Gimp skin. That was a big problem for Warzone, I know that for a fact, but not as much as multiplayer. But I know for Warzone that was a big issue. So I do hope that when it comes to the skins, they don't go that crazy when it comes to being being able to like vanish in the darkness, you know what I mean, like to be like Shadow, like an actual ninja or so, so I hope that they also take care of that issue, and they just recollect that, oh, okay, we better not have this Rose Gimp skin here, so hoping that that's the case here though. Anyways, that's pretty much it right here. Overall, I'm hoping that with Modern Warfare 2, it has a successful launch, especially for multiplayer. That's where I'm going to be mainly focusing on. I may dabble here and there with Warzone, but most likely will be solos. I might have K, which is carry. I may jump along here, possibly maybe for Warzone 2.0, because it does have the. I'm not sure if Warzone 2.0 will have the third-person mode, but I know that the multiplayer will have that, and I really do like what they're doing for the third-person mode, which is actually pretty neat. Doing it as a hybrid, which is pretty cool, or strictly third-person, so which is actually pretty cool too. So it might attract some other people, like for example, people that play Gears of War. That's the only ones I can think of in terms of third-person. When it comes to like third-person shooting, and maybe also, I don't know. You could say Uncharted, because they do have some. Because I did play a little bit of the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. I thought that was pretty good. So it'd be interesting to see how it looks, and it'd be an interesting way to change the pace as well too. So let me know what you guys think about when it comes to Modern Warfare 2, and let me know that what are your hopes and improvements that you'd be doing from the beta going into the launch of the full game. What you're hoping to see, let me know down below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new, also hit that subscribe button. My name is Josh of J&K Gaming. Peace out.